Hi, everybody. This is Jackie Schwab welcoming you back to the Press Play Lifestyle Inspired podcast, where we do interviews with inspiring people like my friend Kristiina here. She said hi quietly.
No.
Uh, where we do interviews on inspirational topics and do monologue content on ideas to help you find the resources, tools, and support that you need to be your best inspired selves. So, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you made it. We had a couple cancellations today. Everybody's got so many things going on.
Oh my
So
gosh.
thanks for making time. It's super cool.
Yes. Wouldn't miss it.
Oh, thank you. So why don't you tell the audience who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm Kristiina Craven and I am, let's see, you never know what to start with. I'm married with two children. I live in Denver and I homeschool my kids part-time and I am a virtual assistant part-time for the day. So that's what I'm doing
Oh,
right now.
wonderful. So hey,
Yeah,
you know what? Unfortunately, because we have to stay relatively aware of current events, so whenever this publishes, we are in the middle. A lot of us are in the middle of being kind of isolated or social isolation at home, and so it's very interesting that you had already chosen to homeschool your kids. So, are you finding the transition a little less challenging than maybe
yeah.
parents who, like, I've got four, and I went to homeschool in like 3 days ago. Mama's not a teacher, but she's trying, right? So, so is it been a little bit less challenging, do you think, for you, or do you
For
still
sure.
kind of have the same things? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all just dealing with like the emotional stress of the uncertainty of what's going on. But it's funny because, I do a lot of marketing inside Facebook groups for clients and for myself. So I'm seeing a lot of posts from other business owners and stay-at-home moms who are like, "Oh my gosh." But life,
Woo!
yeah, it doesn't really look that different for us. My husband even works at home. He started working from home January 1st of this year. So we're kind of like, well, we were kind of already social isolating just by default because I, am glued to my desk for half the day and then we're here with the kids. And granted, we go out and do field trips and stuff like that. But for the most part, this is kind of how we live anyways. And I totally get why the transition has been stressful for people. I really do, because my kids are a little bit older. Mine are almost 13. And then I've got a 14-year-old as well. And we've been doing it for about 2.5 years. Um, and yeah, I mean, I was overwhelmed with, at the time I had a photography business and I was like, my brain could not manage. I was like, I can't think about my business. I couldn't compartmentalize it. I found it very challenging. So I let that go to focus on homeschooling, but I still had that draw and, want to work and bring in money for the family and trying to figure out how to do that while homeschooling. And so that's why being a VA just was a natural fit. And I've been kind of in the online space since like 2008 when I started my first blog, been watching people monetize and do other kinds of businesses online. And I, tried a few things. I was a contract writer. I opened two Etsy stores. Which led to my photography business because I learned how to style and shoot products. Um, and along the way, I just learned a lot of skills, email marketing, social media marketing, photography, all those things. And I was helping people, like I was helping an author, and I never really called myself a VA along the way, but I was supporting people just with like odd projects and things just because I knew how to help. And it wasn't until the end of 2018 when I actually like reframed it to like the term virtual assistant. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually support other business owners with these skills. And that can be my main source of income and my focus. And that really changed everything for me. Kind of gave me the focus, got me to kind of figure out, okay, like what hours of the day am I going to work? How am I going to fit homeschooling in and that kind of thing. So for me, it was really helpful to have that kind of structure from my mindset perspective. And then everything else kind of fell into place.
Yeah, that makes total sense, and I can see how that evolved as well. Like and about 3 years ago, I started a software company that made software for at home for people who have special needs children or have parents that are aging in place. So it's communication platform, task management, that kind of stuff. And but to be able to like sell your own products, right, your own company, you end up learning how to do Facebook, how to do Facebook ads, how to do Instagram, how to do. So as you're learning how to sales and market and like support your own business, you learn all these things on how to like start a business, and you're like, what, wait a minute, I didn't, how do I know all this stuff now? I didn't. So I'm actually not doing virtual assistant work, but I do a lot. I'm a nerd, right? A software company. Um, so I started doing funnels, like building sales funnels,
Right.
because I know all the tech, right? So I'm not necessarily going to be great at copy, but I'm like, oh, you want to do that? Okay, I can plug those things in for you. And so it's the same kind of thing, but I'm doing the same thing you probably were too. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll help you with that, no problem. I know how to do it, but still trying to like do my own business. So I can see how that would definitely evolve. You never know though. A lot of people may have new wonderful endeavors that come out of trying to figure out how to manage, like you did, homeschooling and your desire to want to contribute fiscally to your family as well.
For sure. I really do think, because there is the economic uncertainty, I think that's also, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with Pinterest, but I do that for a client, actually a couple clients, and like work from home jobs. You should see the trend report. It's like, and then it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
because
like my
people are
money
like,
reviews.
yeah,
Yeah.
either they're getting laid off or they're seeing an opportunity or, circumstances change. And I just think the whole business community on a whole, like, I'm not, an expert economics professor or anything, but I'm sure you feel the same way. Like this whole gig economy and people freelancing, businesses are going to realize like, oh my gosh, our workforce can actually be productive and work from home, and it's all going to be okay. Because I think a lot of businesses in the corporate area that like they have been fighting this work from home because see, they can't trust. Will they do their work? Are they doing laundry and doing the dishes, or are they actually doing the work that we need them to do? But I think they're going to realize like, oh my gosh, we're functioning at 100% and nobody's in the office. So I think it's just going to change everything, like from the business owner's perspective to people and how they kind of find employment.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. And interestingly, I think we both are anomalies in that so I was a programmer for a long time. So I've worked from home since 2004, but
Oh,
way
wow.
before it was okay to work from home. Because then I could code, right? You could code anywhere. I had to have good internet because I had to work from home even when I wasn't working from home because it was in IT and that kind of thing. And so it's so interesting now when I'm meeting with people, especially certain generations, I think as well, because I'm an older generation, but I was in technology. So I kind of have that. I adapted right away to the work from home environment.
Amazing. Yeah.
But some of the older generations are just like freaking out. First of all, they're not really sure how to use some of the technologies. And all of the things you said, they're like, well, they're not going to be working. They're not going to this. And I got to tell you what, I've been running a family of 4 kids, a special needs kid, helping her with essentially schooling her because she didn't get what she needed at school, and running a company. And I'm more productive than most people I know that work in the office. Right.
For
And yes,
sure.
mom might be doing laundry whenever laundry need to be done.
Right. Yeah, but we can manage it. Right.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, I just feel like you don't have to, excuse me. Sorry.
Sure. Take a
Mm.
second. Yeah. So you don't have to compartmentalize. And what's interesting is you said something too that I think I also had come about. I'm just filling air for anyone who's not watching. She's got a bit of a cough. Um, I forgot what I was to say. Oh, I, same type of thing with working, and when you're working and being somewhere, and when you're actually doing your work and compartmentalizing. Personally, when I first started, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have all this freedom. I found the freedom was difficult, actually. What ended up happening was like, then you're like, oh, I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. And what I ended up doing, ooh, we got you good. Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
that's okay. You can't help but coughing. Oh, so what I ended up doing though is like making simulated office hours. Like I said, okay, all my little two-leggeds and my four-leggeds, I'm working if this door is closed, or I'm on a call if these people are here. And so I thought I was gonna have like this like free Brian style and do whatever, and I'll work at this minute and work at this minute. What ended up happening was like not that, right? I was like, nope, button seat, need 3 hours of heads down time, never bother me, or I will attempt to murder you, right? And then it made you laugh. But it's gotten better, I think, now but it took all this time, right? So I think people should give themselves a bit of give yourself a break. I mean, I've been doing this since 2004, and I'm finally like getting out how to integrate without a lot of trouble. So and so weird plug, which I didn't think, but that's actually a great opportunity where you can use someone that's a VA, especially a VA who's run their own business, done all the random things, because the likelihood that you both learn some different random thing is pretty high, right? So I could be like, okay, so Kristiina, I have done a lot on Twitter, I've done a lot on LinkedIn, I've done a lot on these business platforms, but I just don't do Pinterest. Like, and you're like, oh, girl, I got that. And then you can like the VA can also help fill holes for you in like the learning curve can definitely go a lot like go down because you have someone that can be supportive. So have you found that with your clients that you're able to sort of fill some of those or even time gaps, right? You can do something that's more repetitive. Maybe they want to work on something more strategic or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been an interesting journey because, you could be a general VA, you could be really specialized and just do Pinterest or just do social management. And I think in the beginning, I was trying to niche and just be the expert in one area. But the truth of the matter is, I know a lot about online business. And there's no reason why I can't bring that to serve a client. And then they also have the opportunity of just hiring me instead of having to hire like 4 people to support them in these different areas. And yeah, one of my most recent clients, we did a 1-month trial, and by the end of the month, I was like, oh my gosh, I can help her in so many more ways than I'm already helping her. And I went back to her and I was like, for this last week and a half, I can do podcast pitching for you. I can like looking at their business from like you said, I was a business owner, I am a business owner, and really bringing the value of like understanding their business, their message, and who they want to reach, and then figuring out like, okay, how can I help them? Because ultimately, I want to make sure I'm bringing value, and that's what I always want to make sure is like, do you see the value? Because if they don't, they're not going to keep you on, right? Like you have to. So I think it's I think it's a great, like you said, kind of like a symbiotic relationship too, because there are things that like I don't know everything. Like let's be real, but to figure out where you can mesh up and kind of fill in the empty pieces that the business owner has, that's really where I come in. And it's been, I'm not going to lie, it's been a little bit of a challenge to figure out how to market myself, because when you just like, I don't want to just say just a VA, but general VA, people, they may not value that as much. But so I'm trying on the hat of because I say I'm marketing and visibility, which is really where my sweet spot is. I'm really great at helping you market yourself online, whether that's Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook groups, and then outreach for podcast interviews, guest blog posts, that kind of thing. But I can also do systems on the back end, and I can help you figure out and solve the problem. And I'm just basically there to support. And it's so funny. I heard this quote, and I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it, but it was somebody in the business world. He said, if you don't have an executive virtual assistant, you are an executive virtual assistant. And I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's huge for a business
that's
owner to
really,
kind of reframe.
I love that actually, because I dabbled with that myself. I told my husband, I was like, I wonder if I should be a VA, and he's like, you don't want to be at everyone else's beck and call, and I'm like, clients much? Like what? Like you know, like I have on Friday. My Friday is really packed. I don't know. I have 6 clients on Friday, all back to back. What am I gonna call them and go? You're not fitting in with my schedule today, so we need. I was like, don't be that guy. But at the same time, leadership is lonely. And I think having just literally knowing that you have, someone on retainer that you can go, okay, I need to talk. I just need to talk. It's like I'm a talker. So I need to talk this out loud and go, am I being ridiculous? Or what do you think of it? Or am I like going down this crazy path? Or I'm stuck. I can't go down a crazy path because I can't talk because there's no one to talk to. I mean, I think
Right.
there's like that. That's
Balancing
where I think a
ideas.
lot of the symbiotic relationship goes. But I think you're right in terms of right now, everybody wants to feel like they're being marketed to personally. Like, you can't say I always joke, I'm Jackie of all trades because I am.
I love that.
Thank you. And I have a son named Jack. So we're like, we've got you covered. If we don't know it, we'll learn it. But the thing is everyone wants to be like, well, I need you to be talking to me. So you have to be a VA for startups who do software for social enterprises, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But the fact is, then you need 75 people to help you
Good
because
point. Yeah.
right? Because then the Pinterest guy does just Pinterest stuff, or girl probably, but Pinterest person does Pinterest, and then what are you going to have, a brainstorm VA, right? This is my brainstorm VA. I just call her when I need to brainstorm. So I mean, I think there's like this level of um, how we market, how we need to market to get attention, but then how we practically do the work is not always. I don't think they're always in line. I think people probably come to you because of your message, right? And then they stay with you because of your value.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think it's hard. I had when I was doing general VA work for a client the first quarter of last year. And she said to me, she was like, these calls that we do, where we just, like you said, bounce ideas. She was a solopreneur. She had no one else to turn to. She didn't have a coach. She wasn't in a mastermind. She was in her head. And we would have these like hour long, and she would bounce ideas off. And I would, because I am knowledgeable in this space, I was able to bring so much value. And she was like, it's invaluable what you're bringing to me, because
Yeah.
she doesn't have that resource and she didn't have it anywhere else. So I was like, this is really interesting. It was really validating to me to realize like the value beyond the tasks and beyond the hours or whatever you want to, however you want to, present it. So yeah, it's a fun time, and I'm excited for people who want to get into this, because I think there's a need. I think, businesses need, and even, small businesses, brick and mortars, they need, you know, executive, whatever you want to call it, assistance. And I think just one other quick note about like the term virtual assistant. When I first like kind of started marketing myself that way, I had someone close to me reach out and was just like, you're more than an assistant. Like you should. And it was so fascinating, because I was just like, it doesn't matter what the title is. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Right. And so I think that term is such a turn off to some people, but I think the people that can get past it, like, oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. You can do so much.
Yeah. There's like what you call yourself and what you're able to deliver, and they're very different. I had the same experience with coaching. So I spent 20 years in healthcare IT doing data integration and working at high level software product management, right? And so theoretically, I have all this credibility and I have like all these business skill sets. And then when I first, my husband used to be a CFO, and I told him I was going into success coaching, and he was like, "You can do like so much better than that." Like it was really condescending. He's like, "You're gonna be a coach? Are they even a thing? Do they get paid? Is it like
Yeah.
volleyball?" And I was like, "Wow, could you be more condescending?" And he's still kind of like, "Ah, you could be
Doesn't
running
get it.
where he's
Yeah.
like, "You could be running companies." I'm like, "'Cause running a company, like I'm running two of them, but okay." Like I
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I don't understand, you're
I know
crazy.
it. Well, I do think like the whole coaching industry is like there's a learning curve from people who might in corporate and stuff. But I do think more corporations are bringing on, like, I don't know if you watch the show Billions on
No, I don't.
Showtime.
No.
So it's like this big private equity firm, and on his team he has basically a coach, a mindset coach, or these guys who are on the front lines, doing these trades. They have to keep their minds right, so they go and see her. And I was like, this is exactly what everybody needs, one of these, right? Because our brains
Yeah.
are just, yeah. So that's
Well,
interesting.
and it's the whole lonely thing, right? So like I do a lot of contract work for a group that specializes in startups, and they're tech startups, so I'm like perfectly positioned for it, right? Most of the time, we're not talking about their business, right? We're talking about the stuff that's in between the ears that is stopping them from moving forward. And so I think everyone deserves a coach, I guess I'm a little bit different. You said it very close to that, but I think everyone deserves to have someone believe in them before they can believe in themselves,
Yes.
and to
Borrow the
hold space.
confidence, right? Borrow the
Right,
confidence.
exactly. I
Yes.
love that. That's a great term.
Yeah.
And then I think that, I guess, I almost feel like a VA is the operational side of that, right? They fill in all of the holes operationally that maybe as a business owner you're like, "Oh, but I can't or don't want to, or I don't have time to." Because I know I really like, I do a lot of podcasting, which we're on a podcast together right now.
Yeah.
And I want my podcast to be very high touch. I don't want people to like go in this black hole and then 3 months later they get an email and said, "Why didn't you share the podcast?" And I'm like, "I forgot I was on your podcast." With that, I literally had that happen. I was on a podcast. I was interviewed months ago, and like I thought maybe it went away, and literally like months later I got an email that was like, your episode released yesterday, we would like you to try to share it." And I was like, "Oh, that's right, I got interviewed by that." Like, I totally forgot because it'd been like, there was no but I can't I have I have 102 episodes already out and 70 more people in the pipe that are being interviewed. I can't, like, love on all of them
Right.
now. I could
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
people like my podcast, but now I'm like, and that's a great opportunity for, I think you probably are overqualified for something like that, but there's some newer VAs that'd be great at, like, kind of just reaching out, making sure we keep the communication open. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way you talked about the operational piece. Like I'm it's so like it's fun for me because I work by myself too. It's fun to kind of like talk it out and bounce it out with you because so many little nuggets that I'm taking away from that. Just hearing an outsider's perspective to outsider, you know what I mean? Like someone looking
I
in
got
on
you.
your
Yeah,
business. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's I really like that. And I've been kind of trying to toy with my marketing piece and, my verbiage, the copy and all that stuff, and it's figuring out the value you bring, who you're talking to. So this has been really helpful for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love it. I'm glad that we were both able to get something out of it. So now that we both decided we're our ideal clients of one another, who is your ideal client? Like, if you're out there like looking for that next super good fit, like, and I even know one of your clients is on our podcast, right?
Yep.
She'll be out right before you, I think. But and she's amazing. So if those are your clients, you're having a great time.
She's
But
amazing. Yes.
so who are the types of clients that you really just really love working with? And if someone needs that kind of help, they should like call you right away.
Yeah, I love working with coaches and service providers because I love being in that space, and I just think it's not airy fairy positivity all the time, but it's like mind management, and for me just to be in the space. So that's primarily my clientele. I think are they're currently all coaches, but I also work with small business owners. Even I'm starting to market myself on LinkedIn to find like small businesses that maybe don't want to hire someone part time or full time and pay them, not only their salary, but their benefits and, have to train them and all that stuff where they can just pluck me and, pay me less money, but I get more than I would if, you know what I mean? Like it works for both
Yeah,
sides.
it
Yeah,
works. Yeah, it's a mutually beneficial
for
relationship.
sure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. So
And
I'm kind of going into like just small business owners, brick and mortars, or online business owners
yeah,
as
and I think
well.
I think you had mentioned earlier, or I might have heard you say this, or maybe not, but I mean, this is also a great opportunity for people who are brick and mortar because you've been online so long to even reach out and get some sort of transition support on how to make some of what was mortar more online. So
That's
that,
such a great point. Yeah.
and so I think a VA is a great opportunity um, to even bounce that off, even if it's a shorter term contract with you, to sort of go, okay, I've seen all these coaches, I've seen all these small businesses, I've done these, I've been a photographer, I've done all these things. Let's work together to figure out your plan for a secondary revenue source, right? An online source while, you're trying to figure out how to deal with people not being able to be foot traffic right now in
Right.
your
Oh
establishment.
my gosh, absolutely. And it's so fascinating. One of my clients that I work with, and I see how she works with her potential clients and people in kind of in her funnel and nurturing them. And her attitude has been just unreal to me. It's been amazing. She's like, this is the time to find solutions. And to your point, that's a solution, right? Like it's the time to be innovative and not be like grabby, or what's the word, where you're trying to take advantage, but actually trying to serve and provide value.
Yeah. I
Huge.
had this really unexpected conversation with one of my clients a couple days ago. And he really, really loves he's in the city. It's like, you're not from around here, but we call it the East Side in Milwaukee. It's like the very hip trend. Like, I don't go there, right? So it's like it's like where all the really cool people go. But it's like very hip, it's very trendy, it's very millennial. They have like, there's the art gallery, the walkaway art gallery, the coffee shops,
I got it. Yeah.
there's an ambiance. And he was like, really, and he's an artist, and he's a startup, tech startup guy, and he's like, I just don't want to lose my culture, I don't want to lose my city, I don't want this all. He lives in Philly. He's like, I love it, and I take public transportation everywhere, and I said, okay, then how do you not lose it, right? What can you do? He's like, well, I don't want this little cute place to close. I'm like, okay, how do you support them? You're an
Right.
online app maker. Is there an app that you can promote for them, or is there a way you can show them how to, maybe they can sell like cool, funky, like one of our local coffee shops is really into like steampunk. So it's like, well, can you sell steampunk shirts or t-shirts or cups or
Merch.
mugs?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what can you do in the meantime to help them make enough to get through a period of time? And he's like, holy crap, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Now's the time. Like there are so many online resources somebody could create the graphics in their home office and start a Shopify store or whatever t-shirt. Yeah. 100%.
oh, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why
The
don't we all just
solutions.
like,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
like pause. So it was like, pause, reframe the negative thing that you were thinking,
Yeah.
and say, what, I don't want this to happen. So what are actions I could take to prevent it?
Yeah. And put it in your brain and let your brain like think, spit out some answers. I'm totally
Yeah,
with you. Yes.
yeah, exactly. Because most of our brain's work is done when we're not like like taxing it so much. So I'm hoping this is also a huge time of explosive creativity, because people have no choice but to like slow their roll a little and
Yeah.
give
So
your brain
true.
time to, tweakify some of those great ideas you've been percolating but forgetting because you've got things to do and busyness to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Yes. And kids to shuttle somewhere and like life and all that. And now it's like, well, now you have some extra time. I agree. I think it's going to be really fun and hopefully things recover quickly and that, with all the social distancing and everything we're doing, like this will not be a long-term thing and people can recover, but it'll be really fun to see what comes out of it, the solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. And those of us who practice social distancing as a way of being, will be like, good job, you caught up. No, I'm kidding.
Have you seen those memes where like the introverts are like, when your lifestyle doesn't change, you're just like, been living the introvert lifestyle.
I have, which is funny, but we have a different take because one of our kids are on the autism spectrum. So there's a really funny one in like the autism community, was this mom hiding, like, have you ever seen The Office, Jim
Oh
from The
yeah.
Office? So
Hmm.
Jim's behind the glass with the like blinds, and he's looking around, and then it says below there, when they ask a autism mom about social distancing, and he's like smirking like, yeah, I got this, bro. It was super funny. So same thing, introverts are all like, stuff changed, what,
Yeah.
like,
What's
yeah,
happening?
yeah. So our ideal client right now, like, you happen to have a lot of coaching clients, but you also
Yeah.
are really into small business and great opportunity, brick and mortar converting over.
Yeah.
So how can people contact you and get in touch to have a new
Yeah. So
idea?
my website is probably my best place to reach me. And unfortunately, my mom's Finnish, so my name is spelled kind of differently, but it's KristiinaCraven.com. And I'm sure you'll have that in the show notes. And
I will,
it's
for sure.
spelled incorrectly, it will also reach me because I did buy the URL with the one
Super
I.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, just in case. I am I think that's probably the best way. And then I link to Facebook and Instagram from there. I'm honestly, I do so much marketing for my clients that I'm not, I'm in groups a lot, but I'm not like posting to my business page, and my Instagram is kind of, which I know people use that as a hiring criteria. Like they'll look to see, but I
Yeah,
mean,
but your website is off the hook, so you're all
oh,
good.
thank you.
It's really, really
And
nice.
myself, hey, Squarespace all the way.
Oh yeah, and you with, well, the photography clearly shows because it like really looks really, really nice.
Thank you.
But it is, I love that you shared that part with the eyes, because I was wondering, I was like, did she like get tired of everyone like thinking she was some other Kristiina, and so she added another I? Because my name is just Jackie. It's Jackie. It's not Jacqueline. It's not Jackie. It's none of that. And I had a nun change my baptismal certificate because she thought
Yes.
it was, and I was like, yo, bro, for real. Like, my name
Yeah.
is Jackie.
Back
And she's
off.
like, nobody's name is Jackie. That's ridiculous. And I was like,
Gosh. Oh yeah.
you're
In
not,
the
I don't think you're allowed to say stuff like that.
oh yeah, I've had like intake at hospitals. Like they're like, oh, your form was misspelled. I'm like, I wouldn't misspell my own name, It's but you just have to kind of go with it. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's
yeah.
great though. I have one of my clients, his name is Diana. But I was like, I saw an old like thing that she had, and it was Deanna, and then now it's Dhyana. And so I was like, "What's up with your name?" And she said, "I changed it because it's so much cooler now." Like, and I was like, "That is awesome." Like, you changed your name because the spelling looked cooler? She's like, "Oh yeah."
That's hilarious.
I was like, "How old are you again?" So yeah, totally millennial thing. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that." But
Wow.
very cool. And then she was the second person because another one of my friends' name is Carolyn Smith. She
Yeah.
changed the first and the last to have a Y instead of an I.
Wow.
I
To
know. So I was like,
differentiate herself.
yeah. And I was like,
Interesting. I would remember that over,
yeah.
yeah, with Wise. Huh.
See, now you don't need to do that because you're already amazing.
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for taking time to talk with me. And I really enjoyed it. We'll stay in touch. I know
Likewise.
you have some things percolating that hopefully we'll be the first to know about when they come out.
Yes.
So I'm super excited. And if
Um,
any last parting words for our audience members before we go?
I would just encourage everyone to give yourself grace if you're at home with kids, if you're planning to start a business, if you have a business and you're trying to freak out, if you're freaking out about it, like come up with a plan. And if it doesn't go all as well, like it's okay. It'll pass. Things will work out. You'll get into your rhythm, but you can do it. That's my main thing I want to say. If I can do it, you can do it. And thank you so much, Jackie, for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I had a great time and I look
thank
forward to
you.
talking again soon. Bye.
Sounds
See you soon.
good. Thanks, Jackie.